Hey, welcome for joining us this morning for Real, Raw, and Relevant. Today I'm talking to my super guest, Michelle Mor, who is an amazing coach, mentor for women in how to really live your life's purpose and have a complete life experience like you freaking love your life. So if you've ever felt like, oh, this isn't exactly what I had in mind for my life to look like, or gee, I wish it looked different, or I feel like, how did I get here? Or I'm overwhelmed with all this crap and I want to be happy, joyous, and free like I was when I was younger, and now I'm older and I feel like, oh yeah, I'm old and tired. Where's my adventure, excitement, love, romance, all the things, my abundance, my money, all the things that we want to really enjoy our lives and be here fully. So it's my intention today that within this 30-minute period in conversation with Michelle, that you actually have a breakthrough for yourself, and what your big freaking problem is starts to dissipate or even disappear with some of the things that we are talking about and some of the tips that Michelle is going to give you today. So this is really a place, Real, Raw, and Relevant is really a place where entrepreneurs actually share their experience, hope, and their essence and their expertise with you, so that we can all move together and work together and further what we're doing here on the planet. I'm Ann Bennett of Renegade Branding. It's smart to fit in, but it's brilliant to stand out. So today I'm here with Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me. I'm going to just say a few things about you. I've known Michelle now for a while. We've been through a few things together.
Yes, we have.
A few things in life, a few life's challenges, a few expanded experiences. I know Michelle is deeply rooted in growth and development and expanding and growing. And, Michelle's kind of an interesting character, because when I met you, Michelle, you were a health coach or going to nutrition school and looking at that, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York, right?
Yes.
So that road. And then, I'm reading here, I didn't realize that you also studied with John Maxwell and are certified in John's coaching. And of course, we've worked together in Landmark Education and WorldWorks and kind of these experiential. I know you're big on having an experience and really getting something grounded in your body. And I know that your life hasn't always been easy. And that you're from another country and you came here, you've been married twice, you've got a beautiful daughter, and how to actually own your power is really what you work with women to do, and what really is what they truly, what their heart's desire is, above and beyond all the things that we're bombarded with of how we're supposed to be or what we're supposed to want for ourselves in our lives. Do you want to say anything else about that before we get into?
Actually, yeah, it's actually perfect, because one of the things that I learned for myself is that I am not my circumstances. So that was a really huge breakthrough for me, and that's really what led me in the direction that I'm in today. That if I can get that, then wow, if I can support other women in having that, then how much freedom we would have.
Right, like the circumstances, a lot of us live in, oh, I can do this or I can't do that, or I don't have the money, or like the other day, a friend and I were talking. I've actually been having you don't know this, Michelle, I've been having a health event. Had an event with my heart over the weekend where it stopped for 8 seconds and rebooted into whatever's happening for me now.
Wow.
Which I seriously am open to the unknown. I actually don't know.
Wow.
We were talking about going to see somebody doing some biofeedback work, and the guy is out really far, like 90 minutes away in Lancaster or whatever. And she's like, oh, it's going to take so long. And I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we knew somebody with a private plane? It would just fly us there. And just totally raised my vibe, right? From like, oh, it's going to take so long, or let's go on the helicopter, or something.
Exactly.
I don't know anybody with a plane, right? But I was thinking, oh, I'll just put it out to the universe. Somebody has a private plane, they'd like to take a little ride.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
That's how miracles, to me in my life, that's how miracles occur, is you just speak it into existence.
Exactly. I actually, I was raised with this conversation. My mother was she was always very positive. And even though she was a single parent with 3 kids and life was hard, she never led us to think that it was hard. Like, she just always had a positive spin on it. And I remember when I was first divorced and my daughter was young. I wasn't divorced yet, but I found out what was happening. And people would say to me, oh, Michelle, I can't believe that they did this to you. And my response, without even me knowing what the heck I was saying, my response was, well, nobody did anything to me because it's not about me. I didn't really know what I was saying when I said that. And now that I'm in this conversation, it all makes sense. Right?
Yeah, I often say to my clients, the DNA stories that you have throughout your life, your actual DNA is supporting what it is you're doing in your business or in your life. It's not a mystery that you do what it is you do, or that you're drawn to start a new business or whatever it is you're drawn to. It's not a mystery. It's part of actually who you are and what you came here to do. I mean, a lot of people talk about knowing your purpose, right? And I don't know what you think about that, knowing your purpose. I mean, do you help women look at what their purpose is, or do you help them look at more what their heart's desire is?
I think purpose is really important. And I think as women, I think men too, but we as women, and I can only speak for women because I am one, but that was always really important to me. And, in my career as a hairstylist, I knew that I'm a good hairstylist and I'm good at what I do, but I always felt like there was something missing. Like I wasn't living my highest possibility. And that was important to me. I didn't want to just survive in my life. I wanted to thrive, and I want to make a difference and impact people in a bigger way than I had been. So, but the tricky part is that you really can't discover your purpose until you identify what's having you be stuck in the place that you're in. So once you identify the beliefs that have held you in this space of being stuck or overwhelmed or frustrated or resigned, because resignation is a big one, and in survival mode, until you identify what that is, you won't discover your purpose because all of that's in the way. You have to really just begin to
like clear it
all out. Yeah.
Clearing what has been your operating system, if you will.
Exactly.
Up until this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you can recognize what you actually subconsciously, I mean, to me, it's all in the subconscious, what you're actually saying to yourself. Like, we're pretty smart to intellectualize and say, oh, yeah, it's great that I can be single because, I'm just independent and it's fine to be single. When underneath all of that is like, I really want to be with someone, right? In a loving, caring relationship.
And that conversation, the subconscious conversation, is what we tell ourselves the most, which is what is the reality of what we have in our lives. I give this example a lot because I think it's so appropriate. It's like someone that works out at the gym every day and she is in great shape. Like I know someone, I haven't seen her in a long time, but she has the most amazing body and she's in great shape. But in her mind, she's angry. She's not happy with her life. And so to me, it's like, it's creating both. It's having the outside match the inside.
Mm-hmm. So are you someone who really talks about and works with everything that's inside is actually pictured outside? Like, you can tell exactly what you think and exactly what you believe, no matter what you're saying intellectually, what you believe shows up in your life. So it's like that whole idea of, I like this saying, rocks are hard and water is wet.
Oh my God. I use that all the time.
Because people are like, oh yeah, I think I'm really great, or yeah, things are really, really, fantastic. And people are always saying everything positive, right?
Yeah.
Or I do affirmations all the time, or I do this all the time. And the result is the result.
Yep.
Kind of like when you look at numbers in your business, it's telling you something, not to beat up or not to use it against yourself, but just to have an awareness of, oh.
Yeah. Exactly. I actually had this conversation with someone recently where she said to me, she's like, yeah, Michelle, I watch your videos and, I just don't believe in all that stuff. And I'm like, that's okay. Mm-hmm. I said, rocks are hard, water is wet, and we are conscious beings. So you don't have to believe any of that. It just is. It just is. So you can live your life like it doesn't matter. It's just, the sky is infinite. It's like, it's just the way it is. So yeah, I do. I use that a lot.
Do you use what I call, spiritual laws of the universe in the work that you do? I mean, do you actually talk about it that way, or do you talk about it in some other
no, it's definitely spiritual laws of the universe. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Because, the thing that I can be a little hard-headed, right? And a little stubborn about, I'll do it my way. Or, I'll do it partially that way, and then I'll take a left turn and do it my way. And, become very curious about why I do that. And also curious around, the laws of the universe work the way that they work. I think I did something recently on a teaching video I did called Obey. Because, I hate that word. It's like surrender, obey.
I love the word surrender.
Succumb, whatever, all these different words. And, things work the way they work. It's like you turn on the faucet and water comes out. I don't have to really know how. But if I stand in front of the faucet and like will it to make water, probably not going to happen.
No.
So do you have some advice for like kind of the non-believers or the people like me that are kind of smart, but, kind of stupid at the same time in terms of resistance or trying to do something your way, I guess, might be the way I would say it. Like, is there a way to shift resistance, let's just say?
I think the most, I know if someone has a really loud, like their self-talk is really loud, I don't know if it would work, but from, like I always say, just pay attention to your thoughts. Just like when you get to that place where it's like, oh my God, I'm like, you're overwhelmed and or for me, it's when I'm in the car, like I'm driving in the car and I'm overwhelmed and I hate traffic. And then all I have to do is stop for a second and go, wait a second, and so that's the advice. And I don't even know if it's advice, but it really is the beginning of being conscious of how we are always creating our reality.
Right. It's kind of, I guess, how I say it is notice what you're noticing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm noticing that I hate the traffic, or I'm noticing I'm frustrated, or I'm noticing that I wish it was going quicker, or I'm noticing, I think this person's, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're an idiot. I can't believe that's what they're doing, right? Or how they,
yeah.
It's like, and that thing that you're talking about, when I notice that, I can go, oh, that's not really my intention. Like, oh, I could stay frustrated, or I can stay overwhelmed, or I can stay nervous or neurotic, or whatever the situation is. Or I can, like, again, this idea of resetting, I can breathe, I can reset, I can get back into my intention is really to either be of service to someone or enjoy myself in this creative process, or understand. It's almost like an awareness of like what's going on here, what's actually going on here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there are so many different levels of awareness, I mean, if you're a seeker like I am, my level of awareness keeps expanding because I want to learn. I love studying human behavior. I love like what makes someone tick, what makes someone the way that they are, and so obviously those are my favorite women clients to work with, and I love working with the novice, the person who isn't at all connected to this, and they're like, once they begin to start peeling the layers off, they're like, what? Like, I'm actually, like, I can change this? Like, yeah, you can. You can.
I think that's one of the most extraordinary things about human beings is that we actually can change direction. We can change our thoughts. We can change our beliefs. We can change our outcomes, if you will, or our results by refocusing or changing these beliefs, these stories. I know we all have tremendous of stories from childhood. I'm not good enough, or I'm stupid, or not pretty enough, or I'll never, I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do something. And, I realize sometimes we're too smart. In my case, sometimes we're too smart, and so we won't do what is the easy road. It's just go bloop, 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 bloop. I don't know why I resist that so much. I'm learning to expand myself to be available for things to be miraculous, or what I consider easy or simple.
Yeah.
When women come to you to work with you, what do what are kind of, who are they? What is generally the conversation? I know women are particularly focused on certain parts of their lives. I'm kind of a fan of saying, women can make millions of dollars, but when they all get together, they talk about relationships and sex and, their families, and those kinds of things become the focal point. What have you found in your working with women?
Well, I've worked with women of all ages. And it's interesting now too, because I have clients that I worked with, 13 years ago, and they're now married, they have kids, and they're in a completely different, and I recently got an email from one of them, and she's like, Michelle, you completely helped me like formulate where I was headed, or what I wanted in my life. And so women, it depends. I mean, most women in my age bracket, which is in their 50s that I work with, are really looking for the what's next for them. They've been a mother or not, but they're at a point in their lives when they're ready for something new, something different, and creatively, mm-hmm. or business, or but really at the root of it all is being happy and being content with whatever is in their life right now. It's not, well, they come to me because they want something. They may not know what it is, but they want something. And eventually what it boils down to is being happy and being, and you don't like this word, but surrender. Yeah. Surrender happens to be a very powerful word, because when we surrender to what is, then like our shoulder, like we can lean into whatever is happening. If you're married, you have 4 kids, and you have a full-time job, and your husband has a full-time job, life is chaotic, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of variables going on there. There's sports, there's homework, but if there's a way to create it rather than having it all coming at you, if you're actually driving the boat, you're driving that, there is a completely different experience in how you navigate that, rather than, oh my God, I got to get up, and blah, blah, blah. Like there's a way to wake up in the morning and create your day.
So if you were,
there's a way to be in the weekend that sets you up for the week.
Okay,
does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I was going to set myself up for the week for like grace and ease and fun, creativity, those are my things I like to have, right? How would I go about doing that? Like, I know you're going to be offering, this is really cool, I'm looking at it, Imagination Life's Principles. Desire for anything attainable by following these 6 and practical steps.
Yes.
So I kind of touch on it so people know if they want to get this really awesome, step-by-step from Michelle, there's a link to get this. And I can see that it's not difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
That is one of the things that, in fact, in one of my calls this morning, it's all very simple. It's just, or actually I should say it's easy. Mm-hmm. It's not simple because it takes practice. It's creating, if you're a mother of 4 and you have, you work full time, there are things that need to get accomplished on the weekend in order to support your week. There's a doingness part, but there's also a how you relate to what you're doing that sets you up. There are daily practices that I implemented.
So what
my
can
coaching.
You give an example of what are the couple of your favorite
vision?
Can you give us an example of what are a couple of your favorite daily practices that set you up for success, if you will?
Sure. So one of my favorites is journaling. And I've always journaled, but I've always journaled more of like brain dumping, like
your emotions come out on
stories. And so the journaling that I use in my practice is more affirmative, affirming what you want and writing it as though it's already here. And I know we hear this all the time. There's a lot of different practitioners out there that are using this model. And I've manifested the things that I say that I've manifested them.
So do you just like let yourself journal, this is what I want, or this is my desire for the week or the day or the year?
No, it's more of, I'm so grateful that.
Okay. So I'm so grateful now that this is happening.
That I have, yeah. And I have a list of affirmations that if I'm feeling a little stuck, I can always refer to it. Or and reading, I'm a big proponent of reading, even if it's 5, 10, 15 minutes in the morning and at night. And when I say reading, I'm not talking novels. I'm not talking about trashy. I'm talking about
something good in your mind,
like the Warrior Goddess Training, or this is my little go-to book right here. Your Inner Conversations Are Creating Your World by Neville Goddard. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And so
part of that helps you to build the awareness of what you're actually saying to yourself, or
really have responsibility from being responsible from not like this burden or that you're wrong or anything, but really being responsible for how and what shows up in your life.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite techniques is to be curious.
Yeah.
To be curious, like, wow, yeah, I just had this heart flutter and ended up in the hospital. How did that happen? What have I been doing? Created that, Not like I'm bad, or I shouldn't have done whatever, I shouldn't think what I think, or I shouldn't be concerned about all the things I'm concerned about, like we're all concerned about, our careers, our businesses, our clients, our money, our love lives, all those things that we care about. But more like, wow, that's an interesting, and the term that they used for it was reboot.
Reboot. Yeah.
Oh, your heart actually rebooted.
Yeah. Wow.
That's interesting. Yeah, now I'm in this unknown place of what do I want to change or reboot or look at in my life and my business. I mean, I've known for a long time there's things that don't particularly make me happy. I mean, there are things in business that you need to do that I'm not all like, woo-hoo-hoo.
I know. I'm the same way.
Right. But if I had more of that attitude, like I know I was talking to one of my other friends on an interview saying, if I romanced my money, because I love romance, right? If I use that as, that sounds like fun, right? Or that sounds really cool, more than like, well, look at your budget, see what you're spending, where you've over, makes me freaking crazy. I'm like, no. That's just,
oh my God. You and I are so much alike in that way. Yes.
When that happens, like my little child gets all like, yeah, it was really bad.
I relate to that.
My brother's a banker,
Yeah. But you know what? But that's also the beauty of like what I do is that like I used to make myself wrong for not being that person. Like I thought there was something wrong with me. And now I celebrate it. I celebrate, like I have my gifts and I love what I do, and someone else has that gift and they get to do what they're doing. And that's like, yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I get into a situation where it's what I consider challenging, traumatic, whatever, I build a little team around me.
Yeah.
I build, like, even with the situations some people know have gone on with my mother in hospice, I built a little team. I took the time to get connected to the people that are there that are working. And when I was in the hospital, I did the same thing. I interact with people and want to connect. I either like their vibe or I don't, which is fine. Right. I move them out of the space if I don't like their vibe, right? And I find somebody else that I like. And I think it's something that I naturally do and that I forget to do in my business or I forget to do in my personal life, if I'm looking for relationships with and friendships and things like that. So we just have a few more minutes here in our conversation. Is there something that you would really like to let people know or tell people about that we haven't talked about yet? If you were going to give one awesome tip or concept or a piece of advice to people who are looking to obviously feel better or live a life that they really want and love living, I like to say, live the life that you would love living. Be in love with your life. What would you say?
Call me. Let's have a conversation. I'm going to say something to that because we are constantly getting divine downloads. We are always getting downloads and we keep pushing them away. Like, oh, not now. I'm too busy. It's not the right time. I need to do this. I need to do that.
Handle the kids or other situations, right?
Like, no, the time is now. There is no tomorrow. There is no, nothing is guaranteed. So if you're in that space of, I want to hire a coach, or what is a coach, or make the call.
Yeah, I think
it's a 30-minute free call. Like, you're not committed to anything.
Yeah, I think what's great.
Huh?
What I think is great, and I say to people all the time when they ask me, it's like, we can't see our own eyebrows. So, I have different coaches and different people that I work with, even in the same field as me.
Yeah.
When I'm doing branding, I don't really do it by myself.
Right.
It's crazy. You can only get so far with your own perceptions and your own belief systems and all of that. Hey, if you're doing fantastic and you've got a life that you freaking love your life and everything is going great and you just wanted to, you don't really want to expand that, or you've got something that, has been plaguing you for a while that you'd like to get handled, that's when you want to call somebody like you.
Mm-hmm.
And have that conversation and go, oh, gee, I always say to clients, listen, have a conversation with me. You'll get tons of things that you can do right away, even if you don't work with me.
Yeah.
If you choose to, great. If you don't, And
Yeah,
there's some things you can do. Go do it.
exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome, Michelle. Well, I see it's 10:35. I don't know if I don't see any questions from people. So if you guys have questions or you want to ask Michelle any specific questions, you can come back when you're watching this and leave them below in the comment box, and Michelle will come back through and look at stuff. Or there's a link to download Michelle's awesome gift. I'm just looking. I'm going to do this morning.
Good.
Yeah, desire anything. Fix your mind on what you want. Determine, these things. The date which you want it, and like now. I'm like now. Do we have to have a date? Like it has to be a couple days out. I'm all about,
Well, you can put it whenever you want. You can say it in the now.
Yeah, I mean, what I like
Or
is
you can have a plan and have a date out in the future. But the practice is to
it's like have the feeling that it's happened.
feel it like it's already here. Exactly.
Yeah, when I think about having an extraordinary loving relationship, right? With somebody
Right.
I just think is totally, off the charts. Awesome.
Right.
Our lives together is so exciting and fun and adventurous and it's full of growth and development. That totally makes me feel good. Other than going, oh yeah, I'm alone.
Yeah. And also, like, plant a scenario with that person. Like, what are you doing? Where are you? What part of the world are you in? What do you, are you on the beach? Are you in the mountains? Are you skiing? Are you surfing? Are you, like, what is the actual thing that you're experiencing with that person? Like,
yeah, I think that's great. Or like, why do you want money, X amount of dollars to do what?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not, most of us are not really motivated by a huge bank account. I mean, yeah, it would feel good, right?
Yeah. But what is that going to give you?
Do I want to buy things for my grandkids? Do I want to, buy a home? Do I want to travel? What is it that you actually do with it? Because if you don't have anything to do, there's no reason to get the money.
Yeah. I know lots of miserable, wealthy people.
Yeah. And I know happy, wealthy people. So, it's
it's the balance.
Exactly. And I think, I like this idea that you write a statement and you read it aloud two times a day, first thing in the morning and before you go to sleep. So I think, I'm like this with all this stuff. I'm going to tell one on myself. I can do anything for 2 weeks. It's really that consistency. Like I know about going to the gym, and what happens when you do consistent over time. And that's always been something that's been challenging for me, or certain things I can do consistent over time.
So thank you for outing yourself, because now I'm going to give you homework.
All right. Awesome.
So you are or actually it's a request that you do that for 90 days.
Okay, cool. So just so you guys know, if anybody else wants to join me and do this little sheet for Michelle, the imagination, I think I put in my introduction, that Einstein said the imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And it's in the imagination where we generate and where we live from. So if anybody else wants to do a 90-day challenge, I'm going to start today.
Yay!
Let's circle back in 90 days.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Really, really fun. So if anybody else wants to do that, just in the comments below, put hell yeah, I'm doing it. And we'll kind of talk to each other in the Facebook, and that will be totally fun. Because to me, everything's a game, and if it's not fun and we're not playing together, I really don't want to do it.
I'm with you 100%.
I'm not I'm just going to do my own thing and see y'all later. That's not my thing. But thank you so much, Michelle, for being with us.
Thank you. I love you, Annie Bennett.
Too, and spending time with us today. And you know, my whole thing is like, this is our opportunity to share and spread the love, because really, in my personal belief, is that we're all in it together. So if you're feeling like you're all by yourself or that nobody understands you, please join me in the 90-day program. We'll do some talking on Facebook back and forth. If you want to talk to Michelle, she's very gracious with her time. She'll give you 30 minutes and you can kind of talk through whatever is going on for you. And until then, it's smart to fit in, but it's brilliant to stand out.
It is.
Unapologetically you, and go forth, enjoy and fun and abundance, and be prosperous and thrive.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.